Hey, what's going on, guys? Seth here with the Christ in Sports podcast. And today we will be going over Proverbs 15. But first, let's. Oh, wow. Look at this crazy situation here where someone was putting C4 into this water bottle using a funnel. Who could this be? That's right. It's me, Christ underscore and sports. Give me a follow here on Instagram. You can DM me any kind of questions or whatnot. I'd love to hear from you. Go ahead and follow me there. And then while you're at it, follow the YouTube channel, subscribe, hit that like button. Just kidding. We're done plugging in. Here we go. Let's get into the really good stuff. Proverbs, verse 1, chapter 15, verse 1 here. A gentle answer turns away anger, but a harsh word stirs up wrath. The tongue of the wise makes knowledge attractive, but the mouth of fools blurts out foolishness. The eyes of the Lord are everywhere, observing the wicked and the good. We'll pause right here on verse 3. We were actually talking about this the other day, me and my teammates. Well, what would we say? Oh, yeah. So we were talking about how our language on the field is different than our language off the field, and just how it's like, uh, you know, we just curse more, or we talk about more crude things on the field than off the field, and it's just like it just goes out the window. And I told my teammates I used to think that I was like, man, there's no God on the baseball field. God doesn't watch the baseball field. But it's verses like these where it says the eyes of the Lord are everywhere, observing the wicked and the good, where I'm like, well, Seth, you were an idiot for thinking that because yeah, God is everywhere. Let's continue. Verse 4. The tongue that heals is a tree of life, but a devious tongue breaks the spirit. A fool despises his father's discipline, but a person who accepts correction is sensible. And we'll pause here as well. I used to, you know, for example, my pitching coach, I was always into throwing as hard as I can. Like how hard can I throw? What is my potential? Like let's forget throwing strikes. How hard can I throw? And my coach would always advise me. What was the word they used? Yeah, they'd always correct me and say, "No, Seth, you need to throw strikes first. Don't like anyone can throw hard, but can you throw it in the zone?" And as a fool, I always kind of just scoffed and mocked at it. I'd be like, yeah, but that's cool and all, but I can throw 88 miles an hour. Uh, now I'm at the next level. Everyone can do that, and now I look back and I'm like, man, I should have. It would have been sensible for me to accept the correction that my coach was giving me. Um, or things my father said in the same way. But let's continue on. Verse 6. The house of the righteous has great wealth, but trouble accompanies the income of the wicked. The lips of the wise broadcast knowledge, but not so the heart of fools. The sacrifice of the wicked is detestable to the Lord, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. The Lord detests the way of the wicked, but he loves the one who pursues righteousness. Pause right here. Seth, why do you care so much about not doing? Why do you care about so much about your language or drinking or whatever, having sex before marriage? Because I know that not doing those things and pursuing what is righteous is what God loves. And because God loved me and I love God, I will obey his commands and pursue righteousness. Verse 10 here. Discipline is harsh for the one who leaves the path, and the one who hates correction will die. Yes, bro. If you want to be disciplined and you run a mile every day, uh, you're on the path. You're on a disciplined path. But if you leave that path and you don't run a mile every day for a month, say you run a mile that month, kind of like what I did this summer. When you get back into that discipline, dude, you're gonna have a rough time. It's like the stereotypical first day of conditioning. 10 people are throwing up just because they haven't been disciplined in running, and it's harsh for them. Verse 11: Sheol and Abaddon lie open before the Lord. How much more human hearts? A mocker doesn't love one who corrects him. He will not consult the wise. A joyful heart makes a face cheerful, but a sad heart produces a broken spirit. Hang on, pause. We'll actually go back to verse 12 here. A mocker doesn't love one who corrects him. Again, back to what my coach was saying about throwing strikes, and I would mock him and say, yeah, but I want to throw as hard as I can. I would consult him because I knew that's what I should do, and it would be wise to consult him. But there's a difference between listening and hearing. I would always hear him and not do what he was saying. But if I would have listened to him and actually followed with what he was saying, I'd be such a different guy. I'd be such a different pitcher. Skip it here to 14. A discerning mind seeks knowledge, but the mouth of fools feeds on foolishness. All the days of the oppressed are miserable, but a cheerful heart has a continual feast. Pause. I'm currently reading the book of Job, and basically, it's this really rich guy with great integrity, and basically, Satan, God brags to Satan about how good he is, and Satan's like, well, he's only good because he's got everything. Here, let me take everything away from him and see if he really loves you. And then that happens, and he's miserable and he's oppressed. He's oppressed because everything's been taken from him, and he's miserable. But at the same time, he still loves God. He still praises God. He still has a cheerful heart. And so he's able to get through. I'm only on chapter 6, and I've actually never read the book of Job fully through. So maybe this might have to be, I'll make a series on Job. But yeah. Anyway, his cheerful heart is what gets him through. And yeah. Anyway, verse 16. Better a little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure with turmoil. Again, back to Job. He has great fear of the Lord, and he's still able to get through it, rather than his great treasure that was taken from him. Better a meal of vegetables where there is love than a fattened ox with hatred. A hot-tempered man stirs up conflict, but a man slow to anger calms strife. Verse 19. A slacker's way is like a thorny hedge, but the path of the upright is a highway. A wise son brings joy to his father, but a foolish man despises his mother. Foolishness brings joy to one without sense, but a man with understanding walks a straight path. The straight path would be the path of Jesus Christ, because he is the only person ever to have lived to never have sinned. And so to walk a straight path would be to understand Jesus Christ. And how do we do that? How do we understand Jesus Christ? Well, we look at what he says in the Bible, in the New Testament, in the Gospels. It can't get any simpler than that. In fact, we have people named Paul and the apostles who actually take Jesus' words for us and dumb them down to our level so that we can understand this straight path. 22 here. Plans fail when there is no counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. A man takes joy in giving an answer, and a timely word. How good that is! For the discerning the path of life leads upward, so that he may avoid going down to Sheol. The Lord destroys the house of the proud, but he protects the widow's territory. The Lord detests the plans of an evil man, but pleasant words are pure. The one who profits dishonestly troubles his household, but the one who hates bribes will live. The mind of the righteous person thinks before answering, but the mouth of the wicked blurts out evil things. Pause right here on verse 28. Sometimes I think to myself, what would life be if I would never speak? How much sin would that prevent? Right? I can't lie. I can't gossip. I can't slander. I can't curse. Can't say crude things. A lot of sin would be stopped right there. And if I would think before I speak, kept my mouth shut, thought before I spoke, so much sin would be kept from coming out of me. But instead, sometimes I'm a wicked man and I just blurt out things. Let's continue on here. Verse 29. The Lord is far from the wicked, but he hears the prayers of the righteous. Bright eyes cheer the heart, and good news strengthens the bones. One who listens to life giving rebukes will be at home among the wise, and anyone who ignores discipline despises himself, but whoever listens to correction acquires good sense. The fear of the Lord is what wisdom teaches, and humility comes before honor. Alright, pause. We're going to look at two things. Anyone who ignores discipline despises himself. Yes. I really kicked myself in the butt this summer when I didn't stay disciplined in my sport. And so whenever I showed up here to college, I was underperforming because I ignored the discipline. And so I hated myself. I kicked myself in the butt. I hated my future self, which is me now. And then to wrap it up, also, the fear of the Lord is what wisdom teaches. So if this book, the book of Proverbs, is teaching us about wisdom and discipline, well, this book therefore also is teaching us about the fear of the Lord. And earlier, I believe in my first video, I said that the fear of the Lord is to fear Christ and to become a Christian. So this book is ultimately pointing to Christ. And we know that's true because when we go read the Gospels, not a single time does Jesus contradict any of these statements that we have read and will read. This book points to Christ and how Christ lives. But that'll wrap us up for this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, just leave them in the comment section, or you can follow me at Christ and Sports on Instagram. DM me. Love to hear from you guys. Of course, read it for yourself. Don't just listen to my words. God has spoken to me, and that is what I'm speaking to you. But maybe something applies to you differently, and you just need to read it for yourself. So please go read it for yourself. And that'll wrap us up for the day. See you.